Hello everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout to share for Cocoa Vanilla Studio using the beautiful new collection Heart and Home. This is my first layout using this collection and it's so pretty. It's very pretty, it's lovely, soft autumn colours. Yeah, perfect for all my autumn photos, of which I have many. So I am using this paper here, the one with all the leaves on it. I was really drawn to it. I love the dark blue and the pretty leaves in all different colours. So I decided to cut some circles. I'm using my old-fashioned, using a compass and a pencil, and then cutting out using scissors. So yeah, very old-fashioned. I'm sure there's a gadget that does this better than I do, but I have metal dies, but they're not very, obviously they only go up to like 6 inches wide, I think, or probably not even that big. So anyway, yeah, so I've gone to cut out that circle. I'm going to distress the edges of both, of course. The other side of that paper is that really lovely plaid or crosshatch paper there. That's very, very pretty. I really love that too. And now I've just got to figure out how I'm going to arrange my papers and my circles, my photos onto the layout, and what my title is going to be as well. I'm using the beautiful gold foiled titles, and because they're fairly large, I wanted to make sure that I could fit it in. Sometimes I leave my titles until the very end, and then I think, oh, I've not really got anywhere to put that. And it makes it a bit more difficult. So I thought if I start with the title, I should be able to work it in fine. So I'm thinking of the title Gather Together. These photos are of my boys collecting pumpkins. So I thought I would use that title. However, in the end, I decided that the two words together were a bit overcrowded. So I decided instead to use the word gather, and then together I've done out of the little mini alphabet stickers instead. So you'll see that happen as the layout progresses. Okay, so I cut another circle, just like a part circle, to go behind the leaf circle, and then I cut that big crosshatch paper into some strips, and I've put that behind the circles. Sorry for the screen flashes. I've got a bit of a technical issue at the moment that I'm trying to get sorted. Okay, hopefully it will settle down in just a moment. So I am mounting my photos onto a piece of paper from the A5 paper stack. It's a kind of peachy colour paper, and I've just distressed those edges. And then I'm going to get those in place. Now, I've also made a little shaker pocket, so I'm just going to show you that now. I've made it with that piece of ephemera, the wreath piece of ephemera from the Die Cut Ephemera set. I just cut a piece of white card, rough cut it to fit on the back, and then with that piece of white card, I cut a piece of acetate, the same card, and sewed it together on my sewing machine and trapped some sequins inside. And then I put the wreath back on top, and it looks lovely. It's a perfect little shaker pocket within that beautiful wreath piece of ephemera. And that goes well with my whole circles theme that I've got going on at the moment as well. So I've got the big circle in the background, I've got a smaller crosshatch circle, I've got the smaller wreath shaker pocket as well, and then I've got my two photos, and now I just need to get everything kind of stuck in place. I've got the bare bones of the layout in place already with the circles, the strips, and the smaller circles and the photos, and then I've got the word gather going in there now, and then I decided to add the word together using the little mini puffy alphabet stickers. They are adorable, aren't they? They're so cute, very, very sweet. I'm in love with them. They're just gorgeous. So I pulled out all the blues to make up the word together. I didn't like where I first put it. I was a bit worried about putting it over the top of the pattern because they are so small. I was worried they wouldn't show up too well, but I needn't have worried. The darker colour of the blue was fine against that crosshatch pattern, which is fairly light in itself. So it looks lovely actually gathered together, sitting on that circle there. My R just falls off the end slightly, but there you go. So fine. Okay, all coming together. I just need to get everything completely stuck down now that I've committed to this design. design. Just putting some foam pads behind my photos and behind my big circles in the background as well. So there we go, that's all pretty much in place. Love that little pumpkin. He's from the Die Cut Ephemera, I believe. And I want to make a little cluster up there where with that pumpkin in the foreground and some flowers behind it. And then I need to add some more flowers, of course, because the floral ephemera is just beautiful, as it always is. So I'm just going to fiddle around, play around, build up my clusters. I obviously don't want to cover up too much of my little shaker pocket. I'm enjoying I like the shape of the layout, how that's kind of coming together. I feel that it should have a little cascade coming down towards the bottom, and then I thought I might add some leaves over on the right, but then I thought that extended that side a bit too much, so they move away, they come out of there again. And then I pulled out these big leaves from the floral ephemera, and so they're almost like a fern leaf, aren't they? And I thought I would put those in place, and that really extended my cluster towards the bottom of the layout. So I was happy with how that is looking there. So I'm getting all my flowers stuck in place too, and I have that lovely little phrase. That's a piece of it's a piece of ephemera, I think. It's not a sticker. These days are so precious. So I've just added that on foam pads. Of course, distress the edges first. And I've added that on top of there underneath my title. And then there's another one up there above the word gather that's yellow and says, "This makes me so happy." So that's all lovely. And then just going to continue to work on my cluster at the top there, the flowers. So I've just tucking in those beautiful florals. I think I've cut some in half so as to stretch them even further. And then I've put in some of the little buds as well, poking out of there too, and that fabulous pumpkin, of course. Right, okay, so nearly there. It's all coming together nicely. I just felt that it's a bit too white. Now, I really admire these people who can use, just have a very small design in the middle of a piece of white cardstock. But whenever I try and make one of those, I always feel like I need to add more. So I need to add more colour. I love colour. So I have trimmed down my background, and I've decided to mount it on top of this piece of paper here, which is so pretty. It's a pale pink, and it has tone-on-tone cross-stitched hearts on top, and cross-stitching really has my heart. I love cross-stitching. I used to do loads of it when I was younger. Haven't done any recently. I have 3 children and lots of scrapbooking to do, so cross-stitching it doesn't get done much these days, but occasionally I pick it up and I really enjoy doing it. So anyway, I was totally drawn to that paper, so I just now created a border. You saw that I took the middle out of it, and that will get used on a different layout. In fact, it's going to get used on my next layout. And just roughing up the edges. I distressed the edges, of course, anyway, but now that it's stuck in place, I wanted to stand them up a bit more. So just use my nail to stand them up a bit further. I do add some machine stitching around the border edge as well, shortly as well, but just a machine stitch border around the edge of the white. Right, so now adding some of those lovely puffy stickers. They're kind of like equivalent to enamel dots effectively, so I've just put some of those in, and now I felt that my background needed a little something extra coming out of the edges. So I grabbed a stencil, and I'm now just lifting up all of the embellishments and ephemera that I've already got in place, and I'm just going to add some little starbursts here, using a Distress Oxide and ink applicator tool. So it's very small amount, but it just gave a little something extra to the layout that I felt that it needed. So I'm now a bit happier with how that's all looking. And then I'm going to come in with some splatters of white paint to finish off. And then that will be layout done. All right, so I hope that you have enjoyed seeing this come together. I loved using the Heart and Home collection for the first time. I think it's so pretty. I love the gold titles. I love the little puffy stickers. There's my little shaker pocket there. Perfect for warm and cozy photos. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Cocoa Vanilla Studio using Heart and Home.